high, when that front tire touches that log, you're going to have to get a lot of gas. The front end's going to abruptly pop up and over and slam down. The goal is to have fun with this, but also preserve the vehicle. Grassy field, but you're planning on going over 20 miles an hour or over 20 miles an hour continuously. And 4 low is for anything less than 20 miles an hour. So if you use that rule, anytime you're going to be less than 20 miles an hour, just drop down to low. Save your vehicle. Save the abuse on the vehicle. Slow and steady is safe and secure. Attention to how tall it is, how well it leans, how it drives, how it shifts, how it reacts to the terrain, how wide it is, how long it is, where are your blind spots. You're familiar with the vehicle every time you walk up to it. You're always looking around at it. You're always looking, are your tires inflated? You're always looking, is anything hanging down underneath it? Is there any fluids dripping? It's natural. You do that naturally every time you walk up to the vehicle, and you kind of do it subconsciously. You're roughly familiar with the vehicle's dimensions. When you're off-roading, though, it's a big difference. On-road, it's a game of feet. You gotta stay a few feet away from that curb, that other car, those signs. Off-road, it's a game of inches. Now up ahead, we're turning and we're coming down power line, gas line, both together. There's a real steep hill that forms.
Feel it like holding back.
Feel it's going faster than you'd like still, then you can lightly
touching the brakes or anything.
Pump the brakes to help slow you down.
That's cool. It's a good feature. glad you came out to do this.
Yeah.
You want to float across the surface. The smoother you go, the more you'll float across the surface. You want to grab a lower gear, first or second, and float across the surface. Avoid the bigger drops, the bigger bumps. Just crawl your way down.
We don't have any choice this time. We're going through.
Pausing up front here for a second to let the rest catch up.
Stranglers. Oh, stupid.
The back door handle.
this way before, I don't think.
Just up ahead, we have a steep, loose hill climb. Now this is the type of hill you need a little speed for, so you want to carry a little momentum from the bottom. Now the mistakes people often make on a hill like this is, they'll give it some gas on the flat at the bottom, and then as soon as they hit the hill, they let off the throttle. They get about halfway up, they lose momentum, then they floor it, and then the tires spin and they don't make it.
Make sure we get some momentum.
We could just go that way.
Oh, Mom will be freaking out if we didn't. He said to try and go up it like on a diagonal.
You gotta be careful with that though, because that's how you roll over.
Yeah.
Let everybody catch up a little bit before we do our next obstacle.
We're dragging on all of these.
So the smartest way is as slow as you can go. Now we had 5.5 inches of rain 2 nights ago. I haven't been through this since, so I don't know how deep it's going to be. So we're going to take our time. We're going to assess it. So as we come in, first thing you want to do is feel out the bottom. Is it rocky? Is it firm? Is it muddy? I look out at my tire to see if I'm churning up mud or if it's just water. Then I want to come in and I want to stay towards the sides. The sides are usually the shallowest. I'm going to focus on keeping that air intake at least a foot out of the water, which means leaving the tops of my tires lightly stick out of the water. You want to just come in slow, feel it out, and you want to listen for your fan to touch, your exhaust to go under. You want to feel for the bottom of the body to touch the water. When your exhaust goes under, you're going to hear blub, 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 blub. And you only want to have one vehicle in the water at a time. The first thing, the exhaust going under, blub, 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 blub. Then you want to listen for the fan. Then you want to feel out underneath. It's going to feel like you're in a kayak with the water slapping the bottom of the boat. Vehicle in front of you starts to exit, you can start entering. The reason for that is, if it's one vehicle at a time in the water, it keeps the water still. And as you come out of the water, just pull off to one side so any ATVs can get by if needed. The reason why we're approaching at this angle, you're leaning driver. Your air intake's on the passenger side for most of these vehicles. So when you lean driver, you keep that passenger side up even higher, which keeps it even safer. You're looking out your driver's door on semi-level terrain. Your depth is your lower door hinge. That's your spot. If you start to go above that lower door hinge, that's when you want to start worrying about your depth. Because that lower door hinge is a foot below your air intake. Once it gets below or above that lower door hinge, then you have to start really focusing on how deep you're going. You figure that lower door hinge is a third of the way up the door anyway. You want to go slow as you possibly can. Just idle your way through. Many vehicles come into spots like this. Try to gas it for that nice wave. And next thing you know, the vehicle stalls out and then it blows the motor. Sound and feel from the driver's seat like you're ripping the entire undercarriage out of it. But then you look underneath, you're not even going to be able to find the scratch. Not as bad as it sounds inside the vehicle, because it vibrates all the way up through the frame, through the seat, and it feels really bad from inside, but it's not. So most of the time, you barely even tell where it even touched. And the newer the vehicles, they're covering everything with skid plates nowadays. And the slower your tires turn, the better they grip. And that goes for any type of material. The slower they turn, the better they grip. The faster they're spinning, the less grip they have. The only thing that helps you with spinning tires fast is when they get hot, they get sticky.
Right there, look at him.
What's on shorts doesn't cover you if you're off-roading?
No, apparently not. Whoa. That's right where that
Little like stick out thing is.
yeah, that little island looking thing.
Yeah.
And these humps, if you touch, you feel you can just lightly go over, go for it. If you think you're going to hit, just hit a little bit of an angle and just take your time coming down.
You have it on, right?
Yep.
that's going to be close on the driver's side. You just want to work your way around it. You want to hug it, but not hit it. So position how you need to get yourself around it safely.
No. Go forward.
And there's plenty of room to squeeze between the two. Don't let the drop-off intimidate you. But you need something to focus on as a visual aid for where your vehicle needs to be positioned. So you just get yourself close to it.
Watch that side. Stick your head out. Make sure I'm not too close. We okay?
You're good, yeah.
Remember what I said earlier about a game of inches.
I'll go to the left more. Okay, there you go.
Watch the backside.
You're good.
Take your time as you come into the drainage ditch. Look ahead out your driver's window to look for any large objects that'll make contact with your vehicle as you're making the turn.
Here we over there.
You're good.
Everybody catch up, bunch up before we get into these obstacles.
Look, the car's like straddling it.
Yikes.
Well, everybody's going to see this and experience this when they get up here, but this is going to be as much as your vehicle can lean without rolling over. Is there some variance in there where you can lean a little bit more? Yes. But I want you to feel this, understand this feel, because this is about as far as you want to go.
Jeez. I guess he stopped narrating on the video for a minute. Oh, jeez. Holy crap.
says it's turned off on the dash, that light will start to blink saying it's turning itself back on. Light will increase. Feel that? What you want? That's better. Hold there. You gotta get the nice tire in the air picture. Okay, this is the way you are. Easy. Perfect. Go up. Up into the trees there, loop around and land right behind that one. Yep, keep letting it work.
Good God.
Can you get by us?
Oh yeah, plenty of room.
Same thing, nice and slow. Point a little bit right there. Nice and easy, nice and slow. Yep. Just like that. Feel out the vehicle. Try to do the work. Just like that, nice and easy. Yep, nice and easy. Perfect. Keep the wheel like that. Keep going forward. Don't turn the wheel at all. Keep coming. Keep coming. Nice and easy. Yep, let that traction control work. Some more. Now start turning. There you go. Just like that, slow and steady. Now you want to exit between these two trees without hitting that one. And then pull down right behind that one and walk back up here, please.
But if you're looking to get yourself dirty, what you want to do is these spots that have a little mud, you want to get in, break kind of the tension, and then gas it coming out. What that does is it pushes the water away from you, but the faster the tires spin,
We're gonna get dirty
the more
now.
mud
Yeah,
flies
not
up on
really.
your vehicle. Mud on your vehicle is good. Water up inside is not. So you get in 5-6 feet and gas it coming out. The faster they spin, the more you fling. Well, you don't want to hit it from speed from a distance where you hit the water hard. Get into the water first, then gas it coming out. Because then it pushes the water away and pushes the mud up on top.
Jeez.
Goes for almost any type of mud spot. Unless you start getting into really deep water, then you can run into problems with that. But it has to be like the depth of the water we were going through earlier. So this shallower water, it works well. Get in, gas it coming out. Check. Now, as we pull into the parking lot, there is this big iron bucket right here. You are more than welcome to back into it and take a picture of your vehicle inside of it. It's always a neat
So you
thing.
did it?
They have stickers in the office that have this bucket on that says I crossed off the bucket off my list or something like that. But your vehicle will fit inside of that. You can get pictures of that.
Let's do it.
Or you can come right down to the parking lot. The air station is in the little brown shed in the parking lot. I will meet everybody there. So take your time in the bucket if you'd like, but I'll meet everybody down at the little brown and green shed in the center of the parking lot.
Oh, that thing's big.
And there There's 4 hoses on the side of this shed.
Oh,
You
good.
can pull up to one of the hoses, but anywhere along the side of this shed, you can get air. So there are 4 spots you can pull up to access it. I will grab the radios from everyone when they pull up the air up.
I think there was 4 hoses.